Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I have another pizza pan craft idea for you. It's for a summer project. So you're going to need a pizza pan and you're going to need some of these summer napkins from the Dollar Tree. They have them in watermelon, lemon, lime, and orange. Okay, so get all of them, get some of them, get the ones you like, whichever. And then you're going to need some Mod Podge and some paint. So I opened up my napkins and I just left them overnight under the pan to hopefully straighten out some of these folds, but it didn't really work. So what you need to do is open them up, and because they're folded in fourths, and see how they're folded in fourths. But when you open them, be careful, because when they cut them, it really crimped these edges. And when I was opening them, they like to tear, so be careful. They're really stuck together. And also check yours, because like this one, it wasn't printed correctly and there's no green rind on this lime, so I don't want to use this napkin. So I went ahead, I'm going to show you how I'm doing the lemon one, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the other three, and I'll show you the finished projects at the end, but I'm only going to have you watch me do all the steps on the one. Okay, so I've opened it up, and then napkins are 2 layers, and you need to pull apart these layers, and you need to do this very carefully because they want to tear. So when they come open, oh, that one's not even attached. You peel off that white, and then it's just a lighter weight napkin that you can see through. If you don't peel that off, it's not going to stick as well with your Mod Podge. You're not going to have as good of a adherence to it. And then I'm going to take, for the lemon one, I'm going to be using the Maize colored chalk paint. I got this at Walmart. It's Waverly. For the watermelon one, I'll be using Fern, and also for the lime, I'll be using Fern, but I'll add a touch of yellow to it. And then for the orange, I'll be using Pumpkin. It's a little darker orange. I might brighten it up with a little yellow. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, what you want to do is paint, and it's probably going to take 2, maybe 3 coats. You don't want to paint the whole pan because, well, if you do paint anything other than the edges, you need to paint the whole thing, because these are so thin that I think if you only painted like an inch in, that it would show through the napkin. So I am just going to focus on painting the edges of my pie pan, or not pie pan, pizza pan. Just using a small brush and just staying up on the edge of the pan. So I'm doing the top edge and the side edge. Okay, and like I said, this is going to take 2 or 3 coats, and you need to make sure to let each coat dry completely in between. Otherwise, it will peel off your chalk paint. Okay, so there's the first one. I'll go ahead and get all 4 pans painted and come back and show you what the next step is. Okay, so I'm back. I did paint about, I think, 2, maybe 3 coats of chalk paint on that. I'm separating out the white piece of my napkin, and I've done all of the other fruits that I showed you the napkins for, and I'm just waiting on this lemon. I've done them a couple of different ways, and this is the way that seems to be working out the best. Okay, these napkins are a hair bit bigger, and they need to go up the edge of your pizza pan. So kind of get it centered and fold it back, and then take your Mod Podge and be very, very generous with it. Get all the way, do the outside edge first and get all the way up onto that painted edge. That's going to do 2 things. Your napkin will reach up there, and it's going to keep your paint from scratching. Okay, so get your Mod Podge. And this is such a shiny, smooth pan that it's kind of blistering a little bit. It's fine. Now, hold down the dry side of your napkin and fold over the side that needs to go down. And gently push it into the Mod Podge. Okay, make sure that you are touching it and tucking it up to the edge of the pan. Take your time with this. Don't push and rush it, because if you do, you'll get tears. And you don't want tears. I've peeled off a couple and thrown them away because I've torn them. So take your time with this part. Alright, once you put a napkin down and it gets wet, it's not a good thing to try to move it because it will most likely tear. So I am not going to put another coat of Mod Podge on the top of this right now. I'm going to let this dry completely, and once it's dry completely, it'll be able to withstand the dragging of the Mod Podge with the brush. These napkins are just tearing really easily. Normally I would just go ahead and put the Mod Podge over it right now, but trust me, I've peeled off a couple and thrown them away because they are tearing. So I'm just kind of touching where there's a bubble and pushing it down into the Mod Podge and hoping for the best. So my first coat of Mod Podge has dried, and I'm happy with the way it is. I wish these creases had laid down a little bit better, but you know, it's a napkin, it is what it is. The one thing I'm not happy with is right here, where I painted the edge and got a little sloppy. I meant to sand that off before I started Mod Podging, and I forgot, and now it really shows. So I might end up taking some white and going on around there with some white paint, but for right now, I'm just going to continue on with what I've got going here. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a second coat of Mod Podge. This just needs to dry, and then I'll come back and show you how I am going to finish mine up. Alright, all of the layers of Mod Podge have dried, and this is my original set of the pans. I don't like how they turned out. And so I did a second set, and I wanted to show you the difference. On this pan, the original one, I did not paint it. I only painted the edges because I just thought I just needed that color. But everywhere where the napkin was white, it turned metallic. And this is okay in some settings, but it just doesn't work in my farmhouse style kitchen. You know, I want some brightness and some things for the summer that are still farmhousey but are a little brighter. And this is way too shiny for my liking. Also, because the pan was so smooth and slippery, I got a lot of wrinkles in these napkins. Okay. On this one, I went back after I was noticing how yucky this was, and I didn't like it. I went back, grabbed 4 more pans, painted them all white with, I think, 3 coats of, it's actually the Plaster colored, it's an off-white. Plaster colored Waverly Chalk paint. Painted it all white, then went through, and I only had, because I had that base coat of white on there, it only took 1 coat of the color instead of 3. So that was a bonus. But I think this looks so much nicer, so much brighter, and so much more like a lemon than this one. Okay? Definitely liking that one better. Okay? Here's the comparison on the orange. Look how many wrinkles I got in this original one. This one came out pretty smooth. I got a little wrinkle there because I got way too much Mod Podge underneath of it. Big difference in that. Okay, this just looks nicer. Okay, here's the difference in the lime one. Look how much more solid that green is. Here it turns more yellowy. Here it's nice and solid color of green. Okay, and then here's the difference in the watermelon. The biggest difference is where it's white, and that's right here, you know. You can see through that, and then the little shadows on the seeds. This just looks crisper to me, and again, less wrinkles. And the only thing I can think of is, because I did them exactly the same way, is that this pan was really slippery, and when I was painting on the Mod Podge, it was like pooling. It was pulling away from the metal and pooling up in spots. So I think that's what made some of these wrinkles. So I'm glad that I took the time and went back and remade these because I think they're so much brighter and so much more true to the color that they were intended to be. Now, what am I going to do with these? I'm going to stick them in a big tub of water with a little bit of vinegar, and that's going to soak all of this stuff off. I've soaked Mod Podge stuff off before. You don't have to put vinegar in it. It just comes off faster, and the chalk paint will come off with vinegar as well. So those are going to get soaked off, and I'm going to reuse them. Now, I have to make some hangers for these fruits that I have decided to keep. I've got lots of different colors of ribbons here that I'm going to do that with. One thing I like to do when I'm gluing hangers onto things is I like to sandwich the ribbon in between the button. I don't care if they match or anything like that. I just use buttons that I have and I sandwich it in there. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is take my ribbon and figure out, this is just some ribbon I got from Hobby Lobby. What I need to do is figure out how tall or how long I want my ribbon hanger to be. This is a 20-inch piece of ribbon that I'm going to use. I always try to cut my ribbon at an angle. That helps keep it from fraying. I'm going to flip my pan over, and I am going to attach this with both E6000 and hot glue because I want it to stay put for sure. Make sure you've got a little glue on there. And then I take my ribbon and I put a little bit of glue across it and I push it down. Push that down, just going to kind of brush away all the glue strands. And then what I like to do when I make a hanger type sign like this, I like to take more of the same ribbon or a similar ribbon, double it over, pull it up, and find the center. So you got the center, and I'm going to tie a knot with this ribbon I just looped through. And I'm going to tie a bow. This is my favorite way of hanging a wreath. It's also my favorite way of hanging just about anything round if you're using ribbon as your hanger. So then the hanger looks like that. If you wanted to go one step farther, which I don't think I'm going to do on this, I'm not sure, I might change my mind, is you could color one of these wooden stickers and stick it in the middle of your hanger. But then that's going to make it a tiny bit harder to hang. Okay, it's up to you. You decide if you want to do that or not. I might do it, I might not. So that's how I did the lemon one. I'm going to go ahead and make the hangers the exact same way for my other pans, and when I'm all done with that, I will come back and show you how they all turned out. Well, there you have it, my 4 fruit slice pizza pans. I hope that you've liked this project. It's been pretty fun and easy to make, and I love how they look hanging above my kitchen cupboards right now. Let me know which one of these fruits is your favorite and which one you might actually try to make for yourself. And give it a thumbs up if you like it, and share it with your friends. This has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.